Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Rothman, and welcome to Real Men, Real Talk Live. Welcome back to the show. Again, my name is Jay, and I am your host. Coming in, I'd like to introduce my co-host coming in from Australia, the man of the land from down under, Everslove Heath. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
We got Sir Charles Maddox coming in from Florida.
What's up, family? What's up?
Good to see you, my friend. And we have Jeff Pisano coming in from Nashville, Tennessee. Tonight, Josh Richard is not going to be able to join us. He is still on set. And he is, unfortunately, not going to be with us tonight, but he promises he will be back next Friday evening to join us in the show. This evening, well, guys, how has your week been? One more week we can just check off for 2020. Everyone doing okay?
Yeah, doing well.
Things are getting better.
Yeah, man. Things are heating up slowly here in the land down under. Charles, are you still on holidays, man?
No. I'm back. But I'm working on getting back. You know what I'm saying?
As we all would, bro. As we all would, man.
So what I'd like to do, gentlemen, is really just kind of start us out, introduce tonight's topic on our show, which is life a playground or battlefield for you? And some of the areas I'd like us to really dive into this evening is, how can you light up the life you want to live? Are you too serious right now, or are you taking time each day to play? Are you feeling lonely, isolated, and don't know how to get out of your own rabbit hole? And last but not least, are you showing up for yourself every day in the playground? And if not, how are you showing up in the battlefield? And, this is a topic that is really close to my own heart, because I spent my lifetime really in the battlefield on all fronts. It was whether I was coming in high or I was coming in low, at home or at the office. I was always chasing something, unknowing what it was until I hit my own rock bottom. But through it all, there were times where I wasn't even aware that I was in the battlefield, other than in business. We always know that as long as we have competitors out there, we're all fighting for a piece of the action. We're all fighting for a piece of the business. But how does that really impact our life? And how does it impact us in our own personal well-being, health and wellness? And so with that, I'd like to open it up to Mr. Jeff Pisano this evening to really kind of take us in deep into, are we living in the playground, or is life for us a battlefield?
Well, I think it's a great question. For right now, what's going on in the world in the last 6 months, 5 months, 7 months, it is such a great question to ask. And what came to me is and I wonder what all the people out there who are watching us are really feeling about that question. It's almost like we're sitting here and we can ask everybody that question. But it's a fantastic question to ask right now. I paused when we talked about it on Tuesday and we came up with the topic, and I said, man, you know what? I need to look at my life. I need to see if there is, where the joy is in my life, where my battleground is, where my playground is. Is there a playground? Am I fulfilled in my life right now? Because there is so much going on, and at times moving into survival mode in these times for so many people. And I just thought it was a great question. I really started to examine my life. Where am I playing? Where am I too serious? Where am I battling? Who am I battling? Am I looking outside of myself and the world at what's going on, the news, going on social media, looking at all the battles on social media. So it was a great question, and it made me look at so much that's going on in my life. And I just realized that my joy has been in spurts. And it's something that I really need to pay more attention to, because I'm a pretty serious person. And it's time now to look at areas where we can start to play, because it is a challenging time in the world right now. And many people are going into that survival mode. Now, when you're in survival mode, there isn't much joy or fulfillment in that. You're just looking to get by and survive in life. So I just think it's a fantastic question that we are going to do our typical dive into it. And I'm looking forward to see what's going to come out at the end of this.
Beautiful, beautiful, Jeff. Charles, what's your take on this? Are we in a playground or battlefield, and how are you managing your own playground?
You know, I think that, and I say this because I talk to a lot of people, and about all different type of things, whether it's business related, personal related, whatever it may be. And I think that people who were in battle mode before are still in battle mode, right? I think people who were in living their best life mode kind of still doing the same thing. And I say that because when you're living per se your best life mode, if that's what you want to call it, I think people do a little bit more planning. They have a little bit more structure. They have certain things set up a little bit better right now. You know, right now I've got a buddy, man. He's building a duplex in Dominican Republic, and I'm jealous, right? That's what I want. And it's only going to cost this guy like $70,000 to build this, and he's going to rent one out for himself or keep one for himself and rent out the others. So when you look at that, you say, man, this guy really, you know, he had a plan. He put certain things in place, and those certain things are coming into fruition. And then I talk to a lot of people who are dealing with all kind of emotional issues and children issues and custody issues and you name it. But those people have seemed to be in battle mode for some time. So I think that, and of course, because of, you know, the world that we're living in right now, some of those who were living that other lifestyle, that battle mode lifestyle, are having to kind of, you know, get their feet wet a little bit, man, and get and touch that other side of life, you know, because of loss of work and things of that nature. But I think, you know, as far as me, you know, I'm trying to thrive and trying to stay away from the battle mode and trying to always recreate. You know, that's one thing about myself. I always recreate who I am every day. Always looking for new opportunities to recreate. And I think that's one of the issues that a lot of people suffer from, is not being able to adapt, recreate, change lanes and look at other things, look at other possibilities, because there are a ton out here.
Yeah, love that, Charles, man. Love that, brother. I think you hit it on the head, that last word, possibilities, potential. You know, we've been living in this survival mode too long, my brothers and sisters, too long. We only touched on the edge of it last week, and, you know, I wanted to bring this topic up this week because, man, all the people that I'm helping, they're still in battle mode as well. They're still in a battlefield. It's in survival. We still feel we're running from this tiger, where we're dipping into the season of the lion, man. We're coming into the season of the lion. A lot of people are in the struggle. A lot of people been in survival mode too long. What's on the other side of that? It's thriving. It's potential. It's possibilities. But we've, you know, grown up in an old system, an old belief system, old programs, old software. It hasn't served us to this point. And to no one's fault. No one's fault at all. Because from those first years of ages 1 to 7 years old, that's where we downloaded all these survival patterns and all these programs. But But I said this on a video this morning. There's a new sheriff in town, man, and that's called your higher self. You know, I think about how I've been dipping into my higher self, and I only said to the fellas in the meeting through the week that at the start of the week here after the show last Saturday, could you believe it? We had 2 days of flash flooding in my local town. I was driving down one street and I was going in a direction. It's funny because, Jay, you said this last week's show. You said that, you know, you were trying to clean up our streets, and it hit me straight away. I had to make a pivot. I had to change direction and not go the direction that I wanted to go, that I had been going most of my time where I've been living. I had to think of another path. But over those next 2 days, those streets were clean. They were cleansed. There was a lot of debris. There was a lot of rubbish on the side of the roads. But that could mean our life too. We've got cleanup time. We've had ample amount of time this year to be cleaning up old patterns, old belief systems, old programs, old emotions, old thoughts, feelings that have not served us. So yeah, man, we could dive in deep about whether your life is a playground or battlefield right now. So looking forward to this, Jay Ruff, man, and my brothers.
Yeah, you know, I have one of our viewers, actually, she said both. Do you guys, and that's a great comment that she shared. You know, is it possible that we can live in the duality of the battlefield and the playground? Is it possible to do it in a way that is healthy, that it's good for us, or is it not?
When I guess there's a few battlefields. We have to kind of identify what battlefield we're talking about. If you're in a battlefield of in relationship, that, you know, that's not a battlefield I want to be in. You know, if you're in a battlefield as far as work, then, you know, or possibilities, then, you know, then some things are just in front of you and you have to deal with them. So I think we kind of got to figure out which battlefield we're talking about.
That's a beautiful question there. Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, yeah, I love that, Charles. And you just got to think, I always dip back to who we are, and you just got to have a look at how our brain's hooked up. It's constantly in battle. It's called your feminine and your masculine energy. So from day one, you're constantly in battle with yourself. So we are just that microcosm of this macrocosm going on out here, as we are all aware, I'm sure. So when you see all of this stuff going on the planet, you got to think about where your emotional state is. You got to think about where your mental well-being is. So when we start to clear up, like I said, a couple of these things, we can become aware of some of those battlefields that we might be having out there. But as I said, we don't need to battle anymore. The true energy of our I amness and our beingness is flow. Yeah. It's play. It's playtime down here, man. What do you reckon, Jeff?
Actually, I just wanted to touch on what all three of you just said. What Charles just said hit me. For everybody to look if you are battling, if you are in a battle right now with something, in a battle, in a relationship, in a battle with yourself, are you in a battle somewhere in your life? Most likely, going to what Evis just said, it's probably something very old, an old programming. You're in the battle of the old. We're in a shadow period right now, dark night of the soul in this time period, in this dimension, in this world that we live in right now. So the battle could be holding on to the old, holding on to the old program, holding on to what's familiar. This relationship that I am in with this person is so familiar, and there's a battle going on, and I know it so well, but it's old. So maybe the battleground right now is we're battling, and many are battling, and I really firmly know this, that in the world outside of us, that's the battle. The battle is people holding on to the old way of doing things, the old way of being, the old paradigms. We're also battling within us to quite possibly hold on to that old as well. And it's time to we have that time. Charles last week said this is a time to reset and look at what we're battling so we can move into a more place of thriving on the other side. And it's wonderful that this shadow is coming up for so many people right now.
Yeah.
Mm.
And even if you look at, let's say, Jay's relationship, he's at that space, that sweet spot that a lot of us want to be at, right? When you could wake up, man, and see somebody next to you that you're bonding with, that you're enjoying life with, and that you're just happy with. Yeah, of course, nobody's gonna, get along perfectly every day, but you have that, at least that stability when it comes to that relationship. And I think that if you're battling in any relationship, that's something that you don't want to be in, because that's going to bring some anxieties, man, in life that you truly don't need. So even when I look at some of the work that I do, man, I'm battling these companies every day, but you get to a point where you say, hey, listen, I'm tired of battling these people. How do I maneuver around this battle? I need to wake up and be smarter than battling these people. So yeah. You open up other doors, you create other opportunities, you use things that you could leverage to create many more layers that you could walk into, instead of going through the same battle every day, that you wake up in the morning and you're battling this. So, even me, I'm to the point where I'm recreating certain things and looking at other opportunities, still doing the same thing, but it's time for that rebirth. I should be building that house, like I said, in the DR right now, that duplex in the DR right now, right next to the beach, for 70 grand, 80 grand, right? To go out there and just lay up, man, and enjoy life and take things simple. And I think also when we look at that battlefield, as far as life, a lot of people, have that set thing, like what you're talking about, that old program, that it's going to be, this white picket fence. We're going to have the family. We're going to get the car. We're going to work our behinds off to get the 401k and the retirement package, man. And that's not my idea of living. So I'm always striving for bigger and better.
I love hearing that, Charles. And I love what you just shared. There's so many nuggets right in it. Liquid pure gold. What you just shared. And I'd like to take a moment here to break it down. From my perspective, first and foremost, Charles, I want to acknowledge you for acknowledging your perception of my relationship. I will tell you that it wasn't always that way. And the only reason that I'm not in the battlefield in my personal relationship today is because I'm no longer battling myself. I had to cut the chain to my own inner battles. I spent a lifetime blaming everyone outside of myself for the things that I was not happy with in relationships, whether it be at home, whether it be with extended relatives, whether they be with my employer or my employees. I was always feeling like it was somebody else that I was in a battle with. And the truth is that I didn't know that at the end of the day, when we clean up the battle within ourselves and we truly come home, all of our relationships will change. And there's no more fight. There's no more battling. One of my mentors early on in my own journey of coming home, healing, said something that I have always held on to. And this is just a few years ago. He said that in his business today, and he is a very, very, very successful in his business world, he doesn't make decisions anymore unless they come from loving kindness, even in business. So if as soon as he has that inner sense or that gut feeling or the knowing that there is greed and or there is an ulterior motive, and it's that the transaction is going to cost him something, that most likely, my interpretation at the time was that we're talking about his integrity or his value system. He had the ability to say no, thank you. Now, I don't know if he still lives by that same set of rules or not. I don't know. But I heard him and it made sense to me. And so, Charles, one of the things that I embraced in my own little circle of creating revenue and business and side hustles is that no matter how they show up, my intention always going in is to come from love and kindness. And there's no more fight, because when you come in with love and kindness, the gloves are off. There's no more battle. There's no more posturing. It's like it's either going to feel good, and it is good, or it's no thank you, and I wish you the best of success, and leave it at that. And it's a new way to live. It's a new way to show up. But ultimately, what it came down to for me was whether it was relationships, whether it was business, whatever it was that I was dealing with, as long as I still was in the inner battle with myself and I was unhappy with things in my life, I had to first work on that and focus. And that is why I'm able to live a different lifestyle today than I ever lived. Look, I was a corporate guy. I was a suit and tie guy working 12, 15-hour days, traveling the world for business and cutting deals and making deals for 3.5 decades. And I don't wear a suit and tie anymore. And I'm no longer in a battle. And when somebody wants to come back or approach me and come in for a fight, 99% of the time today, I'm able to catch myself and not get sucked into the vortex of their trigger, because ultimately they're looking for the fight because it serves something in their life. And for whatever reason that they want to duel or battle with me, it's a choice. Do I jump into the boxing ring, or do I step out and say, no, thank you? I'd rather go into the sandbox and play. I'd rather go out and into nature and play that game than play the game of corporate America and all the crazy making that goes on in that world. So, that's just my perspective on it. But, I was there and now I'm here. And so what do you make of that?
Beautiful as always, my brother. Always good to sit back and listen to our brother Jay Roth, the man, all day. Just such a beautiful story, and I always honor that, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you hit it, Jay. I mean, you're talking about cutting those chains of our own bondage that we've wrapped ourselves up in for so long. And I guess, from my own experience and where I am now, like thinking, the whole pleasing of other people around you, thinking that that's going to make your self-worth and your self-value by doing those things outside of yourself to please other people, where, really at the end of the day, you've just got to come back inside to hear and please yourself. And what I've found now recently, that actually people are coming to me and asking me to build things with them, whether that's in relationships within business, whether that's just in connection. But you send off a particular energy that you create these particular experiences, events, connections within your life that are based on where you're vibrating at. And if that's in a battlefield, then you're going to continuously see battlefields going on in your reality. It's an old way of looking at things. This new highest version of ourselves, if only we took the upgrade, really is in pure flow. It has no reason to fight. It has no reason to battle anymore. It's just an I am, and it's just a beingness. It does not need to do all the time. But it is truly about balance. Balance. We've leaned on everyone else outside of ourselves for far too long for our enjoyment, our happiness, our harmony, and our peace, where we only had to step into our own I amness to find our own feet. So yeah, man, I really appreciate what you're always saying there, Jay.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Ev. Thank you for that. Jeff Asano, what's your take on it?
I love following Evis. The ego, the wounded ego, is always wanting to fight for its separation. It always wants to fight for its separation from anything and everything and move into this isolation. So it's a good thing we could do is to look at look at that, because that's very old. Is the new paradigm new collective consciousness of unity, which is what could be on the other side of this. But that comes with moving within and looking at where there's unity inside of you, and moving out of those old paradigms, the old program. We keep on bringing up the old conditioning and the old programming on this show because that's what it's really all about. And that's what's happening now. We're being asked, and many of us are being forced to look at the old in our life, as Charles was saying, find out what is new. How can we create a new life that, as Jay just said, comes from a place of love in our heart space, moving into a place of togetherness, community, and love in our heart space, and find out if in fact you are battling or fighting for separation, constantly battling outside of you, constantly battling something outside of you, always looking for the fight, looking at the relationship for the battlefield. That's about you fighting for something old inside of you, which is separation and isolation. A way to look at it, to move to a place of joy now, is can I now move to a collectiveness inside of myself, as Jay said earlier, from a place of love and peace, and move into community with others. And then if that's a choice that you can make, ask yourself, how does that make you feel? And I guarantee you that frightens so many people, of opening your heart space and moving into communion with others.
I love that. I love that, Jeff. You know, something that comes to me right now is when we look at who our teachers and mentors are, how many homes have we come from where we watched mom and dad battle, or grandmother and grandpa, or siblings, friends? And because if that's the environment that we come from and where we got our programming, as both Jeff and Evis have mentioned, we're not even aware that there's another way to show up, because that's our norm. That's what we are accustomed to. And so, you know, I find it interesting when I'm exposed to a lot of men and women that are coaches, that are couple coaches. And they all tend to kind of circle around the same concept, which is they want to teach couples how to fight in a healthy way, how to communicate through the fight. And for me personally, I don't understand that, because to me, there is no such thing as a healthy fight. If you're fighting, you're not loving. If you're fighting, you're either hurting or your intention to hurt somebody else, directly and indirectly. You know, sometimes we throw a grenade, and sometimes we just take a shot right for the center between the two eyeballs. And we don't have to do it with a real weapon. We could do it with the most hurtful weapon, which is our tongue. You know, start with sarcasm. What role does sarcasm play in the battlefield? And so, you know, for me, I don't believe that there is such a thing as a coach. I'm not interested in coaching people how to choose the words and fight a healthy battle. There is no healthy battle. You can't be it's an oxymoron. You can't be in a battle and be healthy. It's hurtful. And so for the men and women that are love coaches and are out there promoting their services, I don't get it. It's just not something that I'm aligned with personally. And this isn't a judgment statement. This is just a statement coming from having been there, having been in the battles, and having cleaned up my home. My home is within me, myself, not the four walls. There was also some of that had to take place. I did have to clean up within the four walls as well. But ultimately, there is no healthy way to battle. You know, when these guys are in a boxing ring and they're getting paid millions of dollars to knock someone out, there is no healthy, you know, boxing match going on. You're going in for the kill, metaphorically, and you're being paid to do it at the same time. What's your take on that, Charles?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, brother. You know, one of the things I was thinking of is getting back to what you remember, those times of happiness in your life. And what I mean by that is I remember a beautiful relationship that I was in. And I look forward to having that same thing. So that's what's in my mind as far as getting back to that simple place. I look as far as work-related things, getting back to that simple things. I love being on an island, just like you love hiking, just like Evis loves, going out there, man, in the jungle over there. Those are your simple happiness spaces. Today I was at the pool and I saw a guy just laying in the sun. A lot of us can't even lay in the sun. A lot of us can't even take a walk in the park because we're so wound up, right? And I find myself doing that too as well. I might walk in the park, but I'm on the phone as I'm walking in the park making phone calls. I might lay down by the pool or lay in the pool, but I'm on the phone as I'm sitting by the pool. But I remember those days that are more simple when I'm traveling to different islands and traveling to different countries where I put the phone down and I'm not thinking about deals. I'm thinking about life right this moment and today and every second that I'm living right this minute. So those are the things that I think that a lot of us can truly try to get back to. The simple places when we remember when we were happy without the drama, right? Somebody in the comments said that they left a friend of theirs alone because they only want to argue all the time. I'm sure a lot of us have those people in our lives. Mm-hmm. We have to ask ourselves why. Mm-hmm. We don't want those type of people in our lives. We want people that we can build with, grow with. Donna said something about always giving and never getting back or something of that nature. Well, that's something that we have to adjust inside of us. That could be an old trait and or something that we really need to look at. Do we like that type of drama? Do we like to always have to build somebody up and go through something to help somebody get somewhere else? Or are we looking for those who are going to build us up and we're going to build together? So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, we have an opportunity now in this pause, in this world. I love it, Charles. I know personally, I can own up to this. I make my life so friggin' damn complicated at times, and it's all in my head.
Yeah.
And the simplicity in life is beautiful. I remember many years ago, I was dating this woman, and she says, "What really brings you joy?" I said, "Getting up on a Saturday morning with you and going and get the bagels and cream cheese and coming back to you."
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she goes, "That really brings you joy?" And I forgot that. And I've made my life at times so complicated.
Yeah.
And we have a wonderful opportunity. I'm not saying I have a wonderful opportunity now to learn how to live in the moment of being simple. And maybe that's a part of what all of this is all about, this big pause. I've been always saying, looking at what's important for each and every one of us. And simplicity is, relationships are. We've been put in a place now where we've stopped, as Evis was just saying, so much doing in our life. That maybe it is time to bring it back to the roots of simplicity, of togetherness, of harmony, and really learning to live not even day by day, but moment by moment. Because I know myself, I'm thinking about, oh my God, what am I going to be doing in September and November? And I had to bring myself back to, what am I doing on July 31st? What am I doing right now? Well, here I am with you guys. So that bringing it back to the simple way of life, not the old ways, but the simple way of life without complicating our lives. Like Jay left the corporate world, I left the cacophony of the suit and tie corporate world that drove me crazy to live a life as an artist, as a creator.
Beautiful.
Well said, brother.
Keep it simple.
Go ahead, Jeff. Yeah, keep it simple. Yeah, well, it's simple, not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy to do because if we are so accustomed to, living in the consistency of our repeating thoughts, and we live in the consistency of the repetitive comfort, even though we're in discomfort, there's some comfort in the fact that at least we know how today is going to probably end up, because it's going to end up very similar to how yesterday went. Because every day becomes freaking Groundhog's Day. A lot of people, not because it's how we want to live, it's because we don't know how to get out of the hole. And as soon as we see our shadow, what do? Like the groundhog, millions of us run back into the hole for cover because we're afraid. And what is it that we are afraid of? And what I'd like to do is really transition us into the next segment of our conversation this evening, which is, how can we light up the life that we want to live? How can we play more and let go of some of the battle? And one of the sub-questions of that was, are we too serious? And I can tell you guys that I'm an intense guy, and I tend to be more on the serious side than not. And I have to really work at just smiling. Smiling for me is not something that just comes naturally. I have to work at it, consciously put in an effort. But when I finally was willing to have my own little litmus test and give it a shot and try it, I was able to almost instantaneously see a difference in how my smile was impacting strangers even that I would meet on a beach in Huntington when I was living in Southern Cal. But at the same time, that's why I pushed myself out into nature every morning, because that is the one place where I get to show up and have a play day. And most of the time, it's with myself, by myself. It's very rare that unless I'm working with someone and coaching someone along the trails, typically in the early morning, I'm by myself. Mary may join me, in the late afternoon for a sunset hike on many days, a couple of days a week or so. But for the most part, my early morning time, that's my time for me to connect and really just kind of come down from those thoughts that can keep me really in serious mindset. And so even I know how I had shown up for so many years, and how I have to break the chain of my own behavior for myself, is to get out of my head, get out of my house, and get into nature. And for me, that has been probably the greatest antidote for health and wellness, and cracking a smile. And so, Ev, I'm going to invite you to kind of share with us from your perspective. Maybe this is the time for us to share some liquid gold on some ideas, some tips on what can we do as men and as women to begin to create a playground for ourselves, even if it's not, even if we're not playing full time. How can we even create a part-time playground?
Beautiful, Jay. And you must have been reading my mind, as you always do so well, my brother. Brothers and sisters, it's time to lighten up. We've got to lighten up. How do we do that? Charles, Jeff, you said it. Keep it simple. But who kept it simple? It was us when we were the child, when we were the inner child that never left. We've been, let's put it blunt, shit being adults up until this point. Why do we keep fighting against it? Why are we in this constant battlefield? It's because we're constantly picking up rubbish in our own playground. We haven't cleaned up. See, when we clean up what we're talking about, these old programs, these old belief systems, cleaned up a few of those old ways that didn't serve us, then we're able to start playing again. We're able to make a game out of it. How do we make games? Man, I've been very fortunate to be helping my young nephew on his little journey at the moment. He's under my guidance, and he's just 16 years old. And one thing that he did when he came into my care was, Uncle, I want to change my lifestyle. And I was aware enough to see what he was doing and what he was connecting with. And that was games. So I took him outside and I looked through the window where he could still see his game that he was playing. And on that game was an avatar that he had created to be his highest version, to be the one that wins the game. So I said, see that avatar that you designed in there? Have a look at him while you're creating your new lifestyle. So let's play games. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's go for a walk out in nature. Jay and I love going bushwalking or walkabout or hiking hill. This is simple. It's not a time to keep it overcomplicated. We've got to clean up the rubbish in our own playground and start playing again. Look at everything as possibilities and potential. It's what I keep saying. Where we've lacked, and Mary said it out there, is because the ego mind only looks at limits and lack. It never sees the possibilities. So the ego mind has been driving around in this hot Mercedes-Benz car, this hot Maserati that we call our body, has been driving all of our life because it just wanted to keep us feeling safe. The child has never been nurtured. The child never left. Now it's time to nurture everyone in the car and allow this highest version to come in and take the steering wheel. And when we start to keep things a lot more simple, we start to have a little bit more fun, we clean up the rubbish in our playground, then we can start having some real fun and start playing down here.
Well said, bro.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you reckon, Jeff? I know you're down on this wicket, my brother.
I think what you just said at the end right there is we can start looking at what we need to clean. Once again, Jay last week ended with this. Cleaning up our backyard, cleaning our house, cleaning up our old thought patterns, just looking at our lives, once again, back to assessing our lives, looking at it and asking yourself, am I fulfilled and joyous in my life? Or am I in that battlefield? Where am I within this? What do I need to learn? And then go within and find out what we're holding on to. What old are we holding on to in our life that is keeping us in this duality within us? Whereas we can now have a chance, and I really feel this, and for me, it's a challenge. As Jay is, I'm a pretty serious guy, and I'm always have my head down, and I'm doing what I need to do, creating what I need to create. My biggest challenge, and this is what I'm going to be doing after this show and looking forward. You guys have really gotten me to think. Tuesday got me really to think, like, wow, where is the joy in my life? Where am I playing in my life? Am I so serious? I'm 62 years old. What am I looking at so far down the road that my head is down all the time? So I've got to look at this old in my life of what I've learned and what I've been modeled for that. And for me, it's my dad. I never saw my dad ever really smile or have joy in his life. And even in the moments in life where it is joyous, like when we used to go to football games on Sunday, it wasn't I watched my father's, and it wasn't even enjoyable to him. It was supposed to be having a joyous time together. after our conversation on Tuesday and through this conversation, that is so embedded in me that I am so tired of it. And that's, I need, Dr. Joe Dispenza says, can we leave that old behind? But we've got to know what that old is first, that's still with us. So we know that we can leave it behind and move to a new paradigm and something new. Because I am so tired of seeing my old man's face, and he was a wonderful guy, just being so damn sad all the time. Never saw him laugh, never saw any happiness, even when we were in these joyous, supposedly joyous moments. And man, has that been an indelible impression in my subconscious that I need to work on to break free of.
Well said, brother.
Beautiful, brother.
Well said. I was going to jump in there and say the same thing. It's and even before we got started, I was just going to say, just smiling, laughing. You know, I mean, once again, I go back to places that I remember of being happy. And, you know, when I lived in Los Angeles and I had a boat, I had a sailboat, and man, that was the best time of my life. Why? Because I got up every morning on that sailboat when I wasn't at my place in Venice and Marina del Rey. And I had a bunch of neighbors around there. It was like the Marina housemen of California. It was a blast. It was always something, but it was fun. And and I remember those days, and those were some of my best days. Not because I didn't have any responsibilities. I had my son out there, and you know, I was doing the film and television thing. But man, it was good. So those are the things that I look forward to. Even the other day, I was telling somebody, I said, you know what, man, I've been waiting to buy a house. But I thought, you know what, man, I might buy a new sailboat before I buy a house. And they said, oh, why would you do that? And I said, you know what, honestly, man, because I remember, I want to go back to those times. This time we have is short. I want to go back to waking up on that sailboat. I want to go sailing. I want to spend all day, do some work on the boat, hang out, close some deals. You know, so I think we have to, at times, we grew up and forgot about living life and enjoying ourselves. Forgot about how to laugh, the friends that we had, the silly times that we would joke about, even talking about, you know, fun sexual things with people. You know, I'm always saying something crazy to somebody. Yeah, I'm going to continue being me, man, because that's what keeps me alive. But have I forgot about a lot of those good times, or how to enjoy myself because I'm sitting at the pool and I'm on the phone, or I'm walking in the park and I'm on the phone? Of course. So I'm trying to break that habit too, as well, as far as, you know, having that battle and getting back to just having a blast in life, because this ride is short, and taking out that negative, anything in this little ride that brings negative, I don't care who it is, you gotta walk away from it, and don't let them pull you down into what they're into, because there's a lot of people that want to pull you down into, and they'll actually even make you forget what you are and how amazing you are. I remember LL had a rap song. He said, "What made you forget that I was raw?" Never forget how powerful and amazing you are. Don't let anybody try to bring you down to where they're at. Don't forget that.
I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, something that popped for me right now, I just want to put it out there, is that I love, Charles, how you described how you have the awareness of the earlier days, and you want to come back to that. You want to come home to that. And that's beautiful. Not everybody, however, has had that experience. There are adults today that grew up in homes and had childhoods where they really they really couldn't be a child. Not because they were forced to be an adult, but because a lot of children take on a role much older in their homes than they are by their chronological age, because they feel responsible to perhaps help someone or guide somebody in their best ability as a child. And then they bring that into their teen years. And so there's a lot of adults, I believe, today that if you were to ask them, how was their childhood? Many would say, I don't think I really had a childhood. My child within me never really got a chance to blossom and flourish. And so therein lies a challenge for those that didn't have let's say, a playful childhood, that there was pain in the home, there was pain on the playground, there was pain at school. Now, I'm describing somebody that I understand really well because that was me. And so here I am as a 59-year-old young man today, learning how to play, learning how to get dirty, learning how to fall, literally fall, physically fall, and get hurt, and be bloody, and get back up, and not quit. Not say it's too scary for me, but to still show up, knowing that there's a good chance I'm going to slip, I'm going to fall, things are going to happen out there. But I also now know that that's where I get to play. And that's what I need. That's what I need to come home every single day. But I know there's millions just like me that I'm not going to say that I was cheated out of a childhood, because there was no cheating that went on. It was what it was, and my parents did the best that they could, and they loved me to the best ability. And I love my parents today, and I hold no more resentment towards them. I choose to live in forgiveness today, because forgiveness is where my health can flourish. And so I'm grateful for the fact that at my age, I finally learned how to give myself permission that it's okay to take time to play. It's okay to get on the water. It's okay to get wet. It's okay to spend a day on that sailboat. One of our viewers, Charles, said, Charles, buy the sailboat.
Yeah, I saw that.
So with what time we have left, guys, what I'd like us to do is I'm gonna change it up a little bit tonight. I'm gonna ask one of you to make a commitment. So not just to yourself, but to all of us that are in the show, plus our viewers and audience. A commitment that you're willing to put on the air right now. What are you willing to do this week to get out and play? And next week, when we get back together, I am absolutely going to ask you how you showed up differently for yourself this week, and what was that experience like? So, Jeff Fasano, you're up first, my friend.
Well, the first thing that pops into my head is picking up my camera and getting out and photograph more. I haven't been doing that in the last bunch of months. Been creating new and different ways of doing things. But two things popped into my head: picking up my camera, getting out there with it, and then buying a new bicycle and getting out with my camera and going out and photograph stuff that I don't normally photograph, that there's no purpose to it. In my life, somewhere along the road, I said, there's got to be a purpose to everything that I do. There's got to be an ends. There's got to be a means to do it. What comes to me is to pick up my camera and just go out and photograph again, do street photography, which I loved when I lived in New York City. I did all the time, every day, every weekend, because it's a wonderful place to do that. That's my commitment to myself this week, is to pick up that camera and enjoy what brings me the greatest amount of joy.
Yeah.
I forgot that, guys.
Jeff, you're in. He's in all the way. He's just into the sandbox. So welcome, Jeff. We'll follow up next week and see how you're doing on that. Charles Maddox, what
Yes.
are you committed to? Are you ready to write that check and go to the bank and get that water drain? Or
You know what, man, the other day, and I even said it, I said, I started off in music, and for years, man, I've been wanting to get back into the studio. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play around with that, man. I'm going to play around with a few other things. I'm working right now, man, with that vision in sight of closing some deals for us, man, because I want that duplex in Dominican Republic, but I also want that retreat in Cayman Islands. It's time to live that Richard Branson lifestyle right now and have some fun with this ride. And some of my commitments, what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn how to turn that phone off at a certain time and call it. Right. A lot of people, they go to work, man, and they have that 9 to 5 to get home. That's it. Because of what we do, I'm always working. I mean, sometimes I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm on the computer, man, till 4. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting that work schedule down, getting as much as I can in the time that I do have, and come a certain time, whether it's 6 o'clock, man, I'm done until the next day. So that's some of the steps that I'm looking at doing. But also, I always tell people I'm not looking to get in. I'm looking for the way out. So whether it's the next few months that we're going to work really hard, because I'm ready to literally just live that Richard Branson lifestyle and have some fun with this, man. I want to be laying on beaches and drinking exotic wines with beautiful people all around the world, baby.
Love it, brother.
All right, so Charles is in. Thank you for that, Charles. We got Evis Love. What are you going to be up to this week? How are you going to
Oh, man, I love these questions you're doing the last couple of weeks, brothers. Hey, what about that, Jeff and Charles, man? He's put us on the spot. I love it. It's funny because you just seem to read my mind, man, and it's only been this week also. I've had a couple of people come up to me and ask me, where have my paints been? Funnily enough, one of the first things I ever learned how to do was illustrate or draw, whatever you might want to call it. So I'm going to put myself on the spot. I'm putting myself on the square, and I'm going to have an illustration ready for Real Men Real Talk Live this time next week. What that may be of, it's going to be, something that I'm not even going to think about. I'm just going to allow it to flow like Jeff's going to do with his photography. And I'll put myself on the spot for that, man. No purpose, just flow.
Beautiful.
Is this going to be, Jay, before we get to you to sum it all up, is this going to be show and tell next week?
Serious.
You're going to have to get a whole new program here so we can share screens.
Well, whatever works for you, Jeff. Whatever you're comfortable with. I don't take it too seriously. I want to also invite our viewers, our audience, to put it right here. Commit to yourself and to us. What are you willing to do this week? To carve out new playtime that you may not have done for the past week, months, or years. Post it down here in the comments. Let us know what you want to commit to.
Donna, I want to know what you plan on doing, because Donna is one of our regulars, and I want to hear what she plans on doing. I would love to hear what Brandy plans on doing. Also,
Mary Kelly, come on, Mary.
And also, no, hold on. Scott as well, some of our regulars. Chad. I'm looking for one other one here. I would love to hear what some of them plan on doing.
Lessa just said produce a painting. So there you go. It's going to be a show and tell week, Jay. I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Heather, Denise, Russ would love to hear what Russ plans on doing. And Sherry, there we go. Sherry, if she's still on.
There's so
Jillian, hey guys, Jillian just came up with something that just said there's something that she wants to find to do, but she's frightened of.
It's beautiful, beautiful, Jillian.
Nice.
I just saw that. What are you frightened of, Jillian?
Whoa.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
I think that might be going back into that childhood again, you know.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful, Jillian. That's giving yourself permission, and that's probably starting that healing process. So beautiful.
Definitely.
And
There you go.
Brony Fisher, if you're making candles, send me a DM. I want to talk to you. For reals, if you're making candles, send me a DM, Brony.
There we go.
Some poetry.
There you go. Beautiful.
Oh, Chad got a bow too as well. Time to enjoy it. There you go.
Now it's happening. Now it's happening. Beautiful.
There we go.
Brothers and sisters, tapping into that creative mind. That's where it's at. That's where it's at.
Here we go.
The beautiful thing about playtime is that it doesn't have to be big. If you think about it, if any of you guys have ever witnessed a mom or dad gone at Christmas and the young kids get all these gifts and all, and within minutes they're done playing, but yet they're attracted to pulling out the pots and pans and making play out of something that's nothing. Yes. My point is that we don't have to do something earth-shattering. That's going to take some time. We just have to be willing to step in and just do something that you haven't done in a long time that feels good. Playtime can be something as simple as turning on the music and cranking it up and dancing. Dancing in your home. You could just be doing jumping jacks or whatever. We don't need to do something huge. We just need to do something. Start there, something, and see how you feel, and then let us know what comes forward from that experience. I'm gonna end this show tonight with a story. I was on a trail earlier this year, and I decided the little boy inside of me said to me, he talked to me and he said, "Daddy, I want to skip. I want to skip right now." And I was literally on my ascent from the peak of the mountain in North Scottsdale. And it's a busy trail. This particular trail is a very high tourist trail. There's a lot of families. And I was like, seriously, now? And I'm having this conversation with myself, and he's like, yeah, right now, Dad. I like the song. Can we skip? And so I agreed to skip on the mountain with myself, my son, inside my inner child. And it was beautiful to watch how men and women and children all responded and reacted to what they were witnessing. But that wasn't where the gift came in. The gift came in a day or two later. I went back to the same trail. And at some point, I was in a totally different part of the trail. And all of a sudden, this woman passes me by. And she had to be in her late 50s, maybe. And I did a double take because I couldn't believe what I saw. She was freaking skipping. And in that moment, it was so powerful because I didn't know. I was like, did she see me do that, and did it empower her to go out and play? Or was it something that she's on her own journey and she's been doing it all along? And the beautiful thing is, I didn't need to know. And I didn't stop her and I didn't ask because it really didn't matter. What mattered was that I just watched her skip until I couldn't see her. She wasn't in my visual eyesight anymore. And I had this incredible feeling inside of just such tremendous gratitude to know that when an adult can feel safe enough to do something that's not going to hurt anyone else, but still can bring joy to themselves. I saw little kids smiling. I saw some adults smiling and others that seemed very confused by my behavior. And at the end of the day, what I learned early on is none of my business what you think of me. Is how I choose to live my life today. And so with that, I invite you just to play. It doesn't matter how it looks to others. what matters is how it feels to you. And just maybe, are you going out and carving out time to play, do something you normally wouldn't do? Maybe you'll touch someone else. You'll inspire them. You'll bring hope to them. And you'll give them the courage to create a play date for themselves. And with that, I'm going to ask our viewers, thank you so much for joining us this evening on this topic. Is your life a playground, or are you still in a battlefield? Please, please, please share out our show. Without you, we're just 4 or 5 men having a conversation. With you, we have a talk show. And with that, I know, Jillian, we got your poetry writing's been up there a long while. It's because we want to see you totally committed to that. She says, wonderful, Jeff, thank you. Kristen says, skipping is fun. Then my dad skipped, and my older sister did a cartwheel. Fun, joy. Now, Kristen's dad is in his 80s. And
Wow.
Kristen's a dear friend of mine, and we do some work together, and she inspired her dad to skip with her. And that was just an absolute beautiful moment when she shared that with me and a bunch of people that do work with her, with all of us. So,
can we get a quick, I want you to do it with me, a quick cheer dance move. Come on, guys, right here.
All right, here we go.
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right.
You got to sing to it, Charles. You got to sing to it.
Actually, the music, our theme song gets me going.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
So with that, then, guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I love the show. I love the work that we're doing together, that we're putting out. We're touching people across the globe. And thank you so much for joining us. Viewers and listeners, thank you so much. We love you. We'll see you next Friday night. Josh Richard says he'll be back off of set. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Go out and play. And then let us know how it went for you. Anything else? Anybody want to say closing words here while I take us out?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And don't forget that, guys, that we are in many ways dreaming here. We created this show because we do have that inner youth in us that isn't scared to do something new, to change, to challenge. So we need all of you guys to make sure that you keep sharing, create a watch thing on your page if you can, man. Keep coming back, because we have some dreams about what we want to do with this show to take this thing to the next level and continue touching lives. So thank you for riding this ride with us, and we love you all, man.
Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Peace, everybody.